You're taking the wrong players with your first 6 picks in best ball, and I'm here to go round by round and tell you the best players that you should take right here on the Fast Draft channel. Right off the bat, we're going to take a wide receiver in the first round. I prefer to take these high-end guys who break fantasy and routinely stay at the top of their position. Obviously, Ja'Marr Chase, Justin Jefferson, and guys like that are people that you want to roster, but it's Puka Nacua who I am taking. Ja'Marr Chase is off the board. Jahmyr Gibbs is off the board. If Bijan's off the board, I am taking Puka Nacua, and he's my wide receiver 2 of the season. Last season was a down year, and that's solely because he was injured. Even when he was on the field, he was putting up wide receiver 1 numbers, and I mean top 5 wide receiver 1 numbers. He's dominated targets year in and year out, and Matthew Stafford and the Rams are looking to build off a stellar season they had last year. And this is an offense that has volume. Matthew Stafford doesn't run, and Sean McVay isn't afraid to sling it. I'm all in on Puka Nacua, and I'm rostering him everywhere I can and not even thinking about exposure. Full send. Next, in our second round, this is where we actually need to make hard decisions, or remotely hard. For me, this isn't difficult because I'm taking Trey McBride. If Brock Bowers is on the board, you could take him here too, but I want one of these top-end tight ends. If they're gone, I'll hit wide receiver again. But Trey McBride and Brock Bowers gives you a wide receiver in your tight end position. Trey McBride had more points per game than Brock Bowers over the last half of the season, and that's because no one threw more to the tight ends than the Arizona Cardinals. It wasn't that Marvin Harrison Jr. sucked or is as disappointing as a lot of people would like for you to believe. It's that Trey McBride was that good and they designed the entire offense around him. Now, let's say that they do give more volume to Marvin Harrison Jr. All that leaves us more room for Trey McBride, particularly with touchdown positive regression. I'm not the first analyst to tell you this, but hardly any player has had that many targets and as little as many touchdowns as Trey McBride. It's virtually impossible for him to repeat that and still only have 2 touchdowns on the season. You can't think of McBride or Bowers as simply tight ends. Again, they are wide receivers, which gives you positional upside. No one else in your league can have a wide receiver in their tight end slot. Only Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, and we're hoping George Kittle have that amount of upside. So having them in your roster immediately puts you above the rest of your league. Next, I'm taking care of quarterback. It's Lamar Jackson. It's not the early 2000s anymore. Late round QBs aren't guaranteed to win you anything anymore. More importantly, what we've done here, you've secured the tight end one, you've secured maybe the wide receiver one, and now you've secured the QB one. If you have the top of 3 positions on one roster, I think the odds of you making the playoffs, if not winning the chip, are pretty high in comparison to the rest of your league. And especially in best ball, and especially a tournament like our Rabbit tournament, Lamar Jackson gives you even more positional upside. If you're able to get a wide receiver 1, a tight end 1, and then Lamar Jackson on top of that, it's best ball, folks. That means you have high-end scoring. That's going to put you not just above your league if you're playing in a regular redraft league, but it's going to help you win best ball tournaments. You want the most points possible. Quarterbacks score the most points in fantasy. You can secure the highest total point score on your team in the 3rd round. Fantasy doesn't have to be that hard, folks. And I'm going to give you some running backs. I know we haven't talked about that yet, and another receiver. But before we go any further, I want you to hit that like and subscribe button. If you want more content like this, we're getting into the heart of best ball season. We have more tournaments. Our Rabbit tournament is rolling right now, and you don't want to miss it on that action. If you want to get in on there on the cheap, use my code JAG on the screen where you get a $50 deposit match. You could click the link in the bio where you could hop in our Discord where right now, today, it's Fast Draft Fridays where we offer special discounts and promos for all of our Discord users. You can hop in there right now and get in all the action. That's it for paying the bills. We're going to hop right into it. As promised, we're going to take our first running back. We're going to take that discount on Breece Hall. You remember when Breece Hall was going in the first round? Well, he had a bad season last year. The Jets were bad in general. Now it's a new era. I know that the Jets have been bad a long time, but I'm willing to bet on the talent of Breece Hall and that new coaching staff, especially at this cost. I know a lot of folks are worried about Justin Fields, but let me tell you, that bar with Aaron Rodgers on that team was incredibly low. So Justin Fields has a very low entry point to really help out this team. Moreover, he checked down at one of the highest rates in football, meaning that Breece Hall's receiving upside is back on the menu, fellas. And what I've done with you right now in our first 4 picks, especially in best ball, especially in a tournament like our Rabbit, where you're only drafted 15 players, I've set you up with 4 players. who have the upside to finish at the top of their position. Now, Breece Hall, the likelihood of him beating Jahmyr Gibbs, Saquon Barkley isn't as high, but he catches passes, so at least being a top 5 running back is still an option. And now that you have every other position taken care of, now you're almost at best player available. You're just filling out roster spots here. You're not reaching to try to fill a position, and you've set yourselves up to make smart decisions. Next on the list, we're going back to wide receiver. Jameson Williams with the Lions. Now, sometimes I take receivers earlier here. And remember that this is the optimal draft. So some of these guys may not be here. We may have to pivot. So we're thinking about best case scenario. A lot of folks want to fade the Lions just because they're going to run more or the defense is going to be better. And that's fine. But I think that if you're going to fade Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams has that same upside on less targets. Yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to eat target after target in PPR, but Jameson Williams makes up with that with big plays. And especially if you're thinking about high-end upside and who can score on limited touches, if you're fading the Lions offense, wouldn't you want Jameson Williams the most on this team? And especially when you think about fantasy football, stacking the Lions is pretty easy, but if you go Jahmyr Gibbs early, it's easy to get Jameson Williams. If you don't get Jahmyr Gibbs or you go Amon-Ra St. Brown, you could still get Jameson Williams. You can get none of those guys. Take Jameson Williams and still get Jared Goff later as your stack. We're drafting smarter, and especially in best ball, Jameson Williams is that type of attractive player that's going to give you those spike weeks. Lastly, I'm going to finish off with another running back, Chuba Hubbard. This is someone who finished as an RB1 who you're getting right now in the 6th round, if not later sometimes. Yeah, I know that Rico Dowdle's there, but keep in mind, Chuba Hubbard didn't have a lot of receiving to begin with. And if Dave Canales wants to recreate any of what he had when he was the Buccaneers offensive coordinator, I think there could be room for both of these guys to succeed. Moreover, I think this offense is going to be a lot better, so there's going to be more touchdown equity to go around. And you know who's going to get those touchdowns? Not Bryce Young, not Rico Dowdle, it'll be Chuba Hubbard. So if you think about someone who's been the heart and soul in this team and the engine of what little offense they've had, any type of help in this offense is only going to help Chuba Hubbard. So this is someone who has a safe floor and a ceiling to give you RB1 weeks specifically with those touchdowns. So with the strategy like this, again, you have potentially the wide receiver one. You have the tight end one. You have Lamar Jackson, who's probably going to be the QB1. Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts are the only threats for that. Breece Hall, top 5 upside. Now you have a big boom bust player like Jameson Williams, who's on a great offense. And you finish that off by getting your RB2 right away with Chuba Hubbard. Now, right away in the Rabbit tournament, this is going to fill out your quarterback, your 2 running back, and your 2 wide receiver slots right away. From here on out, you're just building depth and getting best player available and help filling in those gaps for people who also could give you those wide receiver 1 weeks. If you're going to be taking running backs, look for running backs who are RB1s on their own team or at least in the change of pace role who could earn targets in PPR. Wide receiver, same thing. Who's going to be the top 2 target earner on their team? Fantasy doesn't have to be hard. And here at Fast Draft, we try to make it fast, and more importantly, we try to make it fun for you. So if you like more content like this, hit the like, subscribe button. And if you want to get on Fast Draft, again, use that code that's on the screen or hop in the Discord for more offers. Love you. I'm Jagger May. We'll see you on the next one.